Do small-breasted mothers produce the same amount of milk as big-breasted ones? Yes. Breast size doesn't correlate to milk production. Nothing to do with breast size. My dear friend has huge tracts of land, and she barely produced anything. I am a member of the IBTC, and I could have fed the entire block. The number of ducts inside. I have so many. My mammograms are difficult to read. Extremely dense. All the women I worked with in my pregnancy and postpartum office. The smaller-breasted women produced so much more. It was crazy. But no. It's dependent on things like hormone production and amount of milk able to be produced and stored in the glands. Breast size doesn't affect it. One woman has a tiny, flat purse that can't fit anything larger than a water bottle. The purse is currently empty. A second woman has a giant, bulging handbag. The handbag has been filled with random stuff, until there's no room left to add anything larger than a water bottle. Both women will be equally capable of putting a water bottle in their bags. Breast size is irrelevant. Same thing applies to hip width and ability to give birth vaginally. Haha, yes. My breasts were huge with my first two sons, but I barely put any weight on at all with my third son. Ironically, the itty-bitty titty committee produced enough for triplets. So I nursed my niece as well when my sister couldn't get her to latch. Mammary glands equals breast size. Mostly. So long as they are hormonal functional, and there isn't some other random factor affecting them. Healthy mammary glands should still make plenty of milk regardless of what the overall breast size is. When it comes time to produce milk, the breasts will change a bit in size and texture because the mammary glands and their associated structures do change a bit and have some influence. But ultimately most of the size is fatty tissue distribution. I can assure you, yes. I have an A cup normally and my milk is not only enough for my baby but would be for 1 or 2 more. Yeah, my boobs are huge and I produce very little milk. Am a dude, by the way. Milk amount depends on the baby's demand and breastfeeding habit, not on boobie fat. Another fascinating fact. Women can feed their baby out of just one breast. I had a low producer on the right, so I fed my daughter almost entirely out of one side. Made for an asymmetrical aesthetic, but supplied the demand for my chunky baby. Nope. Member of the IBTC here in producing breast milk, in the simplest sense, is a supply and demand feedback loop. The more you nurse, pump, the more you produce. Of course there are some other factors. But for my second child I really got the hang of pumping down and had so much extra I was able to donate it. Breast milk production has nothing to do with breast size. You can be flat-chested and swell to an E-cup with milk and be leaking constantly. Or you can be an E-cup regularly and barely produce milk. I was an A-cup before pregnancy and overproduced that I was also feeding my freezer. On the other hand, my sister has a D-cup and was an underproducer, had to supplement with formula. Bigger boobs doesn't mean you produce more milk. Breast size doesn't affect milk production. It is produced by the milk ducts inside the breasts. And breasts increase in size during pregnancy to compensate for milk storage. My wife is a D, but when she was pregnant with my son, she went up to FF. It's been 910 months since she stopped breastfeeding him and now she's back to D. Her sister on the other hand went from B to DD and stayed that size. Do big dicks piss more? Nah. Seeing the comments and realizing how wrong I am. Breast size doesn't play into milk production. I've always had a small chest, but I could have nursed twins when I was BF, which was for 2 years. I'm basically flat-chested and impressed the nurses by producing more milk than the average woman. So I'd say it definitely did not have anything to do with size. Breast size means nothing. I'm ADD. I couldn't produce enough milk to be able to breastfeed. My mom, who was AB, had no problem at all.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.